Bruiser Brody was, about to kick Luger's ass in the cage, right?
Yeah, I saw that. I was there for that. Where he got out and ran out of it.
What happened? What happened? He just wouldn't cooperate, so Brody just kind of kicked his ass, or what was
Yeah,
happening?
yeah. Well, when Brody comes in, he gets over. Frank was a good friend well, not a good friend of mine, but I had him with me when I booked everywhere. He was with me in Puerto Rico and Texas. Well, his home was in 30 minutes 30 minutes out of San Antonio, where he lived, and I was a booker there for a year and a half, 2 years. So I used Frank a lot as a baby face in that area. Anyhow, getting back to Florida. Yeah, Luger, he knew that Frank was coming in and he didn't take, Luger was a bodybuilder, and at that time he was green. And they put him in a cage with Frank. And Frank's in cages all the time.
Yep.
And bang, and that big boot and that sharp and everything. I just think he got scared. I don't even know the full reason, for it.
Yep. Yeah, it's one of those infamous stories. It's like, oh shit, Luger
Yeah,
basically ran away. He's gonna get his ass kicked. He just got out
yeah.
of Dodge.
Yeah, got out of Dodge before. But if he fought back, if Frank fueled you and you fight back, he'll work with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
If you be a pussy in the ring with him, well, he'll eat you up and beat you to death. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm talking about beat you. You'll feel it too, because because you're a bit of a fucking pussy. He'll fucking pound you to
Yeah.
death. I've
There's a
seen it.
there's a
I've
great
seen it
match.
many times.
There's a great match, or well, I guess maybe depending how you look at it, him versus Undertaker. When Undertaker was first starting out in Dallas, I mean, Brody just kicks his ass. I mean, just eats his
Yeah,
lunch. Yeah, crazy.
yeah. That's his home area, mate. He
Yep.
worked for he played the game there. He worked for Fritz one week. He worked for Joe Blanchard the following week. Whoever's going to pay him the most, he worked for them.
Right. Yep. Were you
Yeah,
there? Were you there in Puerto Rico when he passed away, or no? You were in WWF then.
not WBF by then.
Okay.
Frank, Frank, I used to bring him and do an angle with him in the Junction in Tennessee, in Texas. That's why that's where we did the TV on Monday nights, and Joe's office was there too. And then we'd wait for the weekend and advertise him and bring him in for the weekend. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He'd come to the TV, do some little thing with him, and that. But one time he always worked for St. Louis, and he'd work for Vern AWA, and he'd work for Fritz or Joe Blanchard. This week I had him, and we're going down the valley. The valley's on the borderline where all the trouble is now, Westerco. And then Westerco on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm talking about in the mid '80s, we do 2,000 people. If we have a good card. And this time I've got the Mummy against the Mummy was 6'5", and that against Bruiser Brody, and fucking the Mummy never arrived. No, sorry, Bruiser Brody never arrived. He went to one of the other towns,
Oh
and
wow. Damn.
believe it or not, that town went down to 150, 200 people.
Ooh.
That was hard to get back. It was about 9 months till I got that town back. On a Sunday to 1,000. That with we give them something good and we get 1,000 people. Yes,
Wow.
and
So you went
that
down a
because
lot.
they killed that town. He killed it for 9 months because we used to do that in the afternoon, and then we'd have a charter plane and we'd fly four of the main guys back to San Antonio to work in the hemisphere at night. And Frank was booked on the both, down in the valley and the hemisphere. So he killed the both towns. That was any time he did that to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Damn.
But
Yeah.
he did that. He did that to the other guys too in St. Louis because whoever offered him the most money.